Hello, welcome to another one of our Bookshop's virtual events. We've got the brilliant Jim Smith here and a rather lovely all the audience watching. Hello, all the children watching.
Hi.
Jim, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I can
Thanks
see
everyone for coming.
that's fine. I can see you've got your big fat
I
smelly
have.
poo on screen. That's really great. Um, let's just quickly talk about the whole world of graphic novels because it just
Pretty fun.
feels like they've got really busy. There's loads of them around. I mean, I suppose it comes back to, um, I mean, I think of Bunny versus Monkey as the kind of definitive or more recently definitive
Yeah.
ones. But
I
there's
mean,
more
I
coming,
think
aren't there?
Dogman before that
Dogman.
probably broke the mold for full color graphic novel. I don't know if it's the fact that it got a bit cheaper to make them or something.
Is it? Okay.
I'm not sure. It might be that.
I would
Um,
like to ask all the children, do you read graphic novels in preference to chapter books? Is that a fair question? Is it, or are they just great entry books for children to really start loving to read? But
yeah, I
anyway,
mean,
without
originally I did Barry Lee's books, these kind of that style.
so they're more chaptery with graphics,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
And I never thought I'd want to do this kind of thing, but the moment I started, I just fell in love with it.
A great friend of mine, Olaf Falafel, who some of the children might know, is he's now producing one um, called Tub Venturing, which will be out.
What's
I
it
think
called? Tub venturing.
Tub Venturing. It's all about all these friends in a bathtub going off in pretty
Oh, tub
places.
venturing.
So that's going to
Well,
be
I've
out.
seen him live, and he's really funny. So
He's
that should
brilliant.
be good.
He's such a clever man. But right, without further ado, I'm going to leave you. I'll just hide myself. I'm going to carry on
Okay.
chipping away in the background because you'll need someone to bounce off. But please, teachers, do put comments in the chat box when Jim asks. So good. I'll leave you
Good to me, is
get
it?
to it.
Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for coming. Yeah, I'm Jim Smith, and this is my latest book, my Big Fat Smelly Poo Diary. If any teachers are slightly worried about that title, don't worry. It is also just about friendship and fun and that kind of stuff, but there is quite a lot of poo in it as well. So, my Big Fat Smelly Poo Diary, starring, these are the main people in the book, Pedro, Ozzy, and Olga. Now, I'm not sure if you can see their names at the bottom there. Can
Yeah, we
anyone,
can. Yeah, we can.
can you see what their names possibly would represent? I've made the first letters of each name
Oh,
slightly older. If we add those together, oh,
we
actually,
can.
before we go on, just remember Pedro's little spiky hat there. So their names, their initials spell out poo, which is lucky. I mean, it could have spelled out oop, but Pedro was at the front. And they
Is
are,
it like Ant and Deck? They have to
yeah,
stand
exactly.
in
They're always, actually, no, it's not, but it should be. They're always in the same order, do you mean?
they
Yeah.
have to stand in the same order. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I might initiate that rule, actually. Good idea. They are in a little gang called the Poopies. And Poopies get up to all kinds of mischief, some of it to do with poo, actually quite a lot of it to do with poo. But hopefully you've all got paper and pencils today. If you haven't, don't worry, you can just watch along with me. But I'm hoping a lot of you there like drawing. You can all shout out yes now if you want. I won't hear you. I can say I can't hear you,
You
but
can
I will
shout.
be.
You can shout on the chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you've got a favorite pencil type. I know most pencils are HB. My favorite pencil is a 2B because it's nice and soft. Does anyone there like a 2B? Does anyone not like a 2B?
HB
This
is
is what
my
I'm saying
favorite.
is to be or not
HB.
to be. That's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Right. Well, I was very lucky when I got a little bit older. I went to art college. They taught me how to draw everything at art college. So they taught me how to draw trees. See how amazingly I can draw trees. They taught me how to draw cars like that. They taught me how to draw buildings. That's some buildings there, little skyscrapers. And they taught me how to draw people. And drawing people is one of the hardest things to learn how to do properly. The way they teach you how to draw people is you all go into a massive room. You stand around the edge with a big board with some paper on it and a pencil. And into the room comes, usually, there's me standing in a room with my board and my pencil. Into the room comes usually an old man or an old lady. They come through the door, they go into the middle of the room, and they take all their clothes off. That's my reaction when they take all their clothes off. So be warned, if you want to be an artist when you're older, you are going to have to learn how to draw naked old people. Have I put anyone off there? Sure, there's usually kids that still want to be artists. I like making logos, so I've made a little naked old people logo there. I've hidden a few old people in there. You can see their eyes.
Nice.
I actually just love logos, and I love hidden stuff in logos. So I've got a few little logos now with hidden stuff in them. Here's one. Everyone know FedEx? It's like a delivery company. You would have seen this logo on the side of vans delivering parcels to your house.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if anyone can see. There's a hidden symbol in the FedEx logo. Take a second, see if you can see it. Can you see it?
I can't. Well, there's
Really?
dirt on my screen, so
my clue is it's sort of the negative space. It's the sort of space between two of the letters.
Oh, it's an arrow.
Yeah, so there's an arrow between the E and the X. And that is kind of showing that the FedEx is moving forward, fast, delivering stuff. So now, every time you see FedEx, you'll be able to point out that logo to everyone, the way I do. Right, another one, Amazon logo. Anyone know what the hidden thing in that is?
I mean, is it the arrow, the smile?
There's a smiley arrow, which is like nice to look at, but there's also, it's where the arrow goes from and to.
From A to Z.
From A to Z, because Amazon sells everything from A to Z.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double meaning in that one.
You see, Amazon's a tough one for an independent bookshop owner.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Don't buy your books from Amazon. Get them from.
Don't buy books. Buy anything else, but not books.
Yeah. And this is something I've spotted in the Lidl logo. I'm not sure if anyone can see anything in the Lidl logo.
No.
I think it's to do with this eye. I think it looks a bit like a dog. If you get like that. So like, it looks like a little dog jumping up like that.
That's
so
that's a little random, that one.
It is a bit random. They had a little dog jumping up saying great prices. You could have a name for the dog. I don't know what the name would be.
Isn't the dog back to front? So that would be the dog's bottom with the eye on it. Oh no.
Well, I see this as the tail there, and this.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah. So that's his feet. Yeah. I might take this bit out of my talk. Anyway, now when you look at Lidl logos, you will see maybe a back to front dog in it. Anyway, right. What's the next bit? I've actually forgotten. Let's see. Oh, right. Okay. So when I left university, I decided I wanted to become a cartoonist. I love cartoons. They're just quick, easy things to do. And the best thing about cartoons that something I learned once was that the best cartoon characters, you can tell who they are just from their silhouettes. Now, remember I told you to remember Pedro's hat earlier. So I've got some silhouettes here. You've probably already worked out who this one is. You can all shout out now. I might hear one of you from my little office.
This is Bart, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Bart Simpson. What was it that gave away that it was Bart Simpson to you?
It's the spiky hair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the spiky hair. So if Bart didn't have the spiky hair, say he had just a flat head like that, chances are you would see who it was. As soon as you see these little spikes, even if I don't do the right amount, you can tell it's Bart Simpson just from that. So remember that if you want to design a cartoon character, think of their silhouette, give it something that stands out, and people will recognize your character much quicker. Right, everyone I'm sure knows who this one is.
So this will be Wimpy Kid.
Wimpy Kid. What's his real name? Do you know?
Oh God.
Greg Heffley, that's his real name. So same thing with Greg. If he was, say he was just a circle like that for a head, wouldn't know who it was. Give him just his hair like that. Actually looks like a tomato on a tilt.
Tomato, yeah.
But also it looks like Greg Heffley. Maybe give him those bits as well. So it doesn't have to be a lot, just a simple little thing.
I have hosted Jeff Kinney as well.
Oh, really?
So wow. I should have known the character's name. That's terrible.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He seems nice. Right. So this one, that is. Can you remember the names of the characters?
Oh no, I
Begins.
can't.
You remember what the letters begin with, don't you?
The thing is, I'm quite old school with graphics, so I was thinking Asterix or Obelix.
Oh right. Well, this is Pedro.
Pedro.
Basically, what I did was I copied Bart Simpson's hair and just cut
Yeah,
it
yeah,
down to
yeah.
3 little spikes. I'm not even sure if this is a hat or hair. I don't know what it is, but he's got a little red spiky thing on his head. So we're gonna. Everyone got paper and pencils? I'm not sure if you have. If you have, get them out. We're going to do some drawing now. If you haven't, just watch me draw them. So we're going to draw Pedro, Ozzy, and Olga all on one piece of paper now. So we're going to start with their head shapes. So there's the nose. And you just do a little circle like that for the head.
Very clever. Drawing back to front.
Are you drawing along?
I am, yeah.
Good. They're all kind of based on the same template. So we're going to do 3 of these heads like this. This one's going to go under this one.
I'm doing them side by side.
Yeah, yeah. Cleverer than me, actually. I shouldn't have done it like this. Then we're going to do the bits on top of their heads. So Pedro's
Oops.
like a little party hat, like this.
Olga's nose has gone for a wonder.
You can do the noses as big as you want. Olga's hat or hair is the same, but kind of tilted back like that. And Ozzy's is this kind of, actually looks a bit like a dog poo, but blue. Sticking out like that. Now we do their eyes. I've found out a quick way of doing the eyes is the infinity symbol. I don't know if anyone knows the infinity symbol. It's an 8 on the side. So you just draw an 8 like that.
Yeah.
3 8s. Can anyone shout out what 3 8s are? I'm trying to work it out now. 24?
That's right.
Okay, then we do the dots in the eyes. So Pedro, he thinks is the leader of the gang. So let's have him just staring straight ahead like he's sort of very confident. Olga, she kind of thinks the other 2 are idiots a little bit. So let's have her kind of slightly bored with them, with little eyelids like that. And then Ozzy is the kind of slightly stupider one of the 3. So we'll give him a little close together eyes like that.
Nice.
You see how those little differences kind of change the characters. We'll give Pedro a big confident smile like this. Olga will just have a smirk, I think.
I had yesterday. I was hosting Adam Kay and his graphic, his illustrator, Henry Packer. I don't know if you know Henry.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah,
and he draws all his characters. He does the eyes first. He says because
I actually do start with the eyes first. I don't know why I didn't today. Yeah, I do start like this usually, and I draw the circle around it. Yeah, it's weird. I think everyone starts with eyes, don't they? First thing you look at.
Eyes are so important.
A silly grin on Ozzy, like that. And then their bodies are just little squares like this. We can't do Olga's. Let's do Ozzy's. Like that. And I give them all 3 fingers. Obviously, we've got 5 fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5. But one of the nice things about cartoons, you can simplify it down to 3. Still looks like a hand. And I've saved 2 fingers worth of time there. And I'm drawing a lot of hands in my books. So it all adds up. Give them little feet. Just a little line with a circle on it.
The amount of time you saved in your life.
Oh my God, in fingers, yeah.
You could go on holiday.
I do. I save up 2 weeks of fingers every year. There we go. There's the 3 characters. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about eyes later on. So what's next? Right, why poo? Why did I want to talk about poo for my books, apart from the fact that there's a lot of books about poo and it's kind of a funny subject. Well, let's look at a photo of me when I was about you lot's age. That's back in 1985. I was 10 then. So that's me there with my friends. We had our cameras in those days weren't phones, obviously. They were like, I mean, this camera was flash because it had a little kind of timer on it. I'd obviously put the timer on the floor, the camera. We'd all had to squitch down to fit into the photo. So that's us. I think we're in the Isle of Wight there. And one of our things that we like to do as a gang was to phone up random phone numbers. And when someone answered, we would ask them if Poo Poo was there. We just thought that was funny. So we'd phone them up. They'd say, hello. I'd say, hi, is Poo Poo there, please? And they'd get all annoyed and hang up. And one week we were doing this, and I phoned a number, and an old lady answered, and she said, hello. And I said, hi, is Poo Poo there, please? She got so annoyed, so angry. I thought it was so funny. I jotted down her number, and we started to call her about once a week. We'd phone her up, hi, is Poo Poo there, please? She'd answer, get really annoyed, hang up. Then one week I called her, and she answered, hello. And I said, hi, is Poo Poo there, please? And she went, oh, Poo Poo, yeah, oh, just hang on. And she called up the stairs, Poo Poo, it's the telephone. And I heard someone come down the stairs, and she handed the phone to them. I think it must have been her husband. And he came on the phone and said, Poo Poo speaking. And I hung up, and I never called her back again after that. So that actually happened. There's her handing it to Poo Poo. There's the angry Poo Poo, aka her husband. And I thought it'd be nice to draw quickly an angry Poo Poo, because drawing angry things are always fun. So we will start with the eyes first here. So
angry eyes. Angry eyes are so important.
Angry eyes. Everyone needs to know how to do that if you don't already. So we've got the eyes, 2 dots in the middle. Let's draw the poo shape.
I suppose it's the eyebrows, isn't it? It's eyebrows rather than eyes.
Yeah. This is a standing up poo. You don't see a lot of these. Let's give him little feet. Give him some kind of clenched fists. I'm actually giving him 4 fingers here. He's got his thumbs have come out. An upside down grimace like this. And then the important bit, which I'm sure you all know, is the V eyebrows like that. Straight away, it turns the normal character into a really angry character.
Yeah.
And eyebrows they're really important for showing emotion on a character. So I've got some more eyebrows.
Give us a sec. Just catching up.
Oh, catch up.
Yeah.
So these are some eyebrows you can use when you're trying to give your characters emotion. So we've got regular eyebrows when you're just walking around, not really thinking of much, just little lines there. When you're surprised eyebrows, your eyebrows kind of go up like this. So let's draw a surprised person. There's their head. So if a surprised person, do high arched eyebrows like this. When you're worried, these are worried eyebrows, your eyebrows kind of tilt like that. So a worried person would have tilted eyebrows like that. And I'm not sure if any of you there have dogs, but dogs have very expressive eyebrows. So you can quite easily turn these characters into dogs. Just give them a little nose like that. Ears like that. Straight away you've got a surprised dog or a worried dog. Like that.
Very good.
And there's a few other eyebrows here where we've got angry, we've seen already. Happy, you just kind of like do lines like this. That makes a happy face. Thinking, you have like the eyebrow, the eyelids half shut.
Suspicious.
Our ones are arrows pointing at each other like that. And everyone likes dead eyeballs, which are just crosses like that.
The zombie eye.
Yeah, zombies always a good subject. Right, I've got some poo samples now. So these are poos you might or might not have seen around and about your town. Let's have a look. Got regular poo. Usually looks like that, nice pile. Always get a fly around those. They do look a bit like a chocolate ice cream. So be warned, if anyone ever offers you chocolate ice cream, don't eat it. Checked it first.
Weirdly, I always have vanilla ice cream when I'm at
that reason.
For that very reason.
This is the Leaning Tower of Poosa, which you see few of those around. This is the suspenseful poo. So it's like ... You never know where it's going to lead. Usually leads round the corner to an even bigger poo. Floating poos. These rare, but quite destructive. Most poos affect the trainers. These actually affect the socks. They bash into the socks. And once your socks have been hit by a poo, even if you've washed them, you never really want to wear them again. So these are quite bad poos to come across. This is a shy poo. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Just peeking in from the corner. This is too much poo, which is kind of what we're experiencing this morning. This is sort of someone swearing in a comic book poo. It's quite an obscure one. And then finally, this is just the poo I saw once, which was some flies were using it as like a kind of sort of soft play center. So it's like little steps, and then they were jumping into a little puddle of wee. Sorry. At this point, probably the teachers are thinking, is this too much poo? And that was something I worried about when I made this book and we were sending it off to publishers. I thought, are they going to think there's too much poo? So I made a little graph for them to persuade them that it's not too much poo. So I've got a little graph, and it's got the amount of poo in a book and then book sales, and it actually tracks up the amount of poo and book sales. So this finally persuaded my publisher.
That's right. You lulled Scholastic in with that one graphic.
Exactly, yeah. Right, these books are printed in full colour ink. Get that? So yeah, they're full colour.
I'm now sniffing the book.
Yeah, can you smell that?
Just checking.
I don't know about you, but I smell every book. I love smelling books. So I'm going to show you a few pages from the book. Let me get the actual one here. So this is a bit in the book where it's break time, and Pedro, he's the leader of the Poopies, and he's really into poo stuff. Olga and Ozzy are a little bit less enthusiastic. They feel like he bosses them around, is always telling them what to do, which he is. So it's break time. So everyone's like, yay, let's go. They're all running out to break. Olga and Ozzy are thinking, let's just hang out in the playground. They're saying, I love break. Me too. Me 700. And do you know why? And they both say, why? Because it means, and Pedro's saying, toilet inspection time. And they're both groaning. So this is based on my kid and his friend at school. They, for a couple of weeks, were inspecting toilets at break time and doing like flushes if they found a poo in a toilet. And
was that a voluntary thing, or were they?
Yeah, they just go through phases. They don't like football, so they find other activities, and this was one of those activities. So I jot down ideas from my kid all the time. They're saying, not a boring old toilet inspection. Pedro's saying, what? You dare call yourselves Poopies? And then say you don't want to inspect toilets? And they're saying, oh, here he goes again. It's not us who calls ourselves Poopies, it's you. He's not listening at all. Anyway, toilet inspection time. So he just forces him into it. So they're going into the toilet. Pedro is saying, time is 10:35 Tuesday morning. Poopies are currently entering toilet facility A. They just think he's crazy. He has a little sniff, a not entirely unpleasant aroma. Ozzy says, not entirely unpleasant, it stinks in here. Then he talks about it could be linked to the skyscraper sewage situation, which is something earlier in the story. The sewage system in the town is backed up. This is based on, when I was a kid, I lived in a town called Twickenham. There was a local sewage system called Mogden, and sometimes it would get backed up, and then if it was a windy day, the smell of Mogden would float across town, so the whole town just smelt of poo. But I always didn't really mind, because I always thought, well, there's a couple of mine in there, so maybe I can sort of just about recognize them. So then they say, or Pedro, you might want to check this out. So Olga's found something. Pedro walks over, opens the cubicle door, and there's there's an enormous, giant, unflushed poo in Italy. And that is the beginning of their little mission to find out who has been doing these unflushed poos.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a mystery, that story.
That's a crime. I trust everybody watching this flushes their own poos.
Yes, that's, as I've been trying to tell my kid. Hang on, let me skip through those pages we just saw. Right, talking of unflushed poos, who likes Coca-Cola?
I'll have Diet Coke occasionally.
Really, Diet Coke? Okay. Well, I loved Coke when I was a kid. I was obsessed with it. I didn't just like the drink. I loved Coke cans and Coke bottles and everything to do with the design of it. I was always into design. And I had a big collection in my room where I am now. Actually, there's loads of old Coke cans from the 1980s. And I had books about Coca-Cola. And in one of them, it told a story about how years ago, Coke wanted to use Santa Claus in one of their adverts. But this was like 1930s, 40s. And actually at this time, Santa was known for wearing blue or green, not necessarily for wearing red and white. But Coca-Cola obviously wanted him in red and white. That was their colours. So they did a little advert with Santa. He was in blue. They made him in red and white for the Coke advert, like that. And this was so successful, this advert, that apparently ever since then, Santa's worn red and white, all because of Coca-Cola. And to me, that was just the most amazing fact. I thought it was so cool. But I always wondered, what if another drink company got to him first, like Fanta or Sprite? Then maybe he'd be wearing orange or green clothes now. And actually, if Fanta had got to him, maybe he would be called. Can you guess what he might be called now?
I could guess. Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, which was actually would be a really good Christmas advert for Fanta. If you had Fanta tangerine flavour, get your claws on some this Christmas. So that's my little pitch to anyone listening that works for Fanta or Lidl with the dog idea earlier. I've got a couple of ideas for you there. Well, you're wondering, why am I talking about cans? I put my love of cans into all my books. So in Barry Loser books, if you've read those, they're the books I used to do. Everyone in the town drank Frankel. In my Poo Diaries, everyone drinks drink. And the slogan for this is drink, drink. And actually, can anyone think what a can of drink is called if you finished it?
Empty drink? No.
I thought it'd be called drunk.
Drunk?
If I drank a drink, it becomes drunk. We're still working on technology for how to change the I to a U. Some kind of heat-based thing, I think. Right, okay. This is the time when I ask for your ideas. I don't know if this will work on a little chat thing or something, but I'm always after new ideas for my books. I know kids are good at ideas. I thought, should I call it ideas? Then I thought, no, I'll call it Poo Dears as a snappier title. Then I came up with a better title than that. Diaries. I actually did a little logo for that. Diaries. I've trademarked it, so don't copy it. So, has anyone got any diarrheas for me?
Any ideas? Any diarrheas?
Yeah, basically ideas for my next book. Could be to do with poo. Could be to do with anything that happens to kids at school. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get these ideas across.
Children, yeah. If you want to plump them in there.
Oh, here we go. From someone, Poop Wars. Like it already.
Miss Seabrook, well done for her class.
Yeah, let's
Poop
just
Wars.
do the gun like that.
Is it going to fire poop?
I'm imagining it's going to fire poos, yeah.
That's going to be a very messy war.
Anyone else?
Rory from class said, an unknown poo found on the floor. Not in the toilet, that would be...
No. All right, moving that on to just on the floor. Is it a dog? Is it
an investigation? Could you do wee diaries as well as poo diaries?
Yeah, I did actually think of the old wee diaries spin-off.
Parkland's Primary, Year 4. I like where your mind's going, Parkland
That's
Primary.
Good, actually. Yeah, maybe book... I've written book 2 already, so maybe book 3 could be would it be a fat, smelly wee, my big, wet, smelly poo diary.
Well,
What's this one?
Freddie wants a poo fight, or said poo fight. Whether he wants one or not, I don't know.
Red poo fight. What's this dinosaur?
Discover a dinosaur because of its poo.
Yeah, dinosaur poo, which I think sells for millions, doesn't it? If you find a fossilized dinosaur poo, it is worth a lot of money.
It is. It is.
Let's have it.
These are all good ideas.
Cabinet like this.
Okay. So Harriet swimming in.
Yeah, I won't draw that one. Or will I? Maybe I will.
When I was when my child
It reminded you of a story, has it?
Well, this is a little story whilst we're going, but when my child was probably in the first 3 or 4 months, we were in the bath and obviously took nappy on, decided to do a poo in the bath.
I had the exact same experience. Actually, my wife was in there with them.
So I was in the bath.
I had to scoop it out.
The thing is, you're holding a baby, so getting out of the bath is not easy.
No.
So I had to scream for help, and my wife come running. Martha, a super villain called Poop Man. Have you got any villains in your books?
I have not in Poo Diary. I've had like other kids at school that are kind of enemies, but I haven't had a giant villain. I like
that's a great Martha. That is a great idea.
Excellent.
Poop Man villain.
I feel like you should have a moustache.
Eugene's come up with same class. A volcano in the playground appears. That could be where it's backing up with poo. A volcano can suddenly erupt in the playground.
Brilliant. Love that.
Kai is saying poo world.
Poo
world. So
I was working on
a fun park.
I was working on a toilet world idea actually, and the logo was there's the toilet.
I've just seen Harriet's written another one that's quite good.
Go
on. Lily has said a baby poo who then actually grows up.
Wow. I like that.
These are great ideas. Suddenly grows arms and legs. Oh dear.
Right, good ideas. I've got these all written down here.
So
keep an eye out for future books for those.
I think you've got to give.
Right, well, there's the book. It is available in all good bookshops. There's a little star there. It says also bad bookshops. Oh, Pooh superhero. I'll just quickly draw that.
So like a poo villain, we've got a poo superhero. Can you put a cape on it?
His cape will be toilet roll. There we go.
Is this something you've thought about in the past?
I have, yeah. I had that ready to go.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the bit. That's the talk bit, actually. Has anyone got any questions or anything like that?
Lovely. Yeah. So if the kids want to put questions into the chat, probably easier in the chat, really. And we can put those too. So I can kick things off anyway whilst the questions are coming in. But have you ever had a normal job? Or is this...
No. Well, actually, I left college and I was trying to get work as an artist or illustrator, and I worked at an Odeon seating people, like so an usher, which I was rubbish at because I would just let people sit anywhere, and then it'd get all busy. Then I'd have to move them around. Then luckily, the way I started my career was my dad had a light shop in our local town selling lights, like little lamps. I made a giant Santa Claus to stand outside it, made out of wood. And then a coffee company saw that and they wanted one for their shop. And then this was like 25 years ago. And I just kept doing stuff for this coffee company and they became a chain. So I ended up doing their coffee cups and their posters for their walls and their sugar sachets. So it was a complete fluke. And I sometimes think I'd just be still in that Odeon if that didn't happen.
Nice. Let me put these are my...
Oh, these are very good. It shows how easy it is to do, maybe. Or maybe you're very good. Sorry. That was an insult.
I kind of went to art school as well, actually.
Oh, really?
I ended up in owning a bookshop. But
Right.
we have questions, right? Marla, why did you choose a poo book?
Why did I choose a poo book? My agent, I don't know if you know what an agent is. It's someone that shows your work off to publishers for you. And she said to me, publishers are looking for poo books. Like poo is back in. I don't know when it went out, but poo was back in. So the moment she said it, I mean, I didn't need encouraging. The title, My Big Fat Smelly Poo Diary, just jumped into my head.
I think
And yeah,
you've certainly you've gone for it. There's
yeah,
no holding back, and that's to be commended. And I tell you what, I commend all the schools for supporting it, because clearly
yeah,
some
thanks.
I've had one or two who are a little bit, dare I say, sniffy. Ooh.
Well, I thought, if it gets kids picking up a book,
That's entirely the point. Entirely the point.
yeah.
Etta has just exclaimed, "They're really good books."
Oh, thanks. I like that.
There's
I
no,
didn't need a question.
there's no question there. Etta, we love you. We love you, Etta. Well done.
Thanks, Etta.
Right, we've got Parkland's Primary 4. Why did you start writing books in general?
Oh, well, just when I was probably your age, about 8 to 10, I was just obsessed with drawing and writing very little short stories. And I just had this dream of myself at a big desk with pots of pens, paper. And I just carried on drawing as I got older and older. And somehow I'm every day sitting at a desk doing exactly that, except it's on a computer. I didn't guess that would have happened. Yeah, I just loved doing it. And I'm sure there's kids listening today that feel the same way. My advice is just don't stop doing that. Because a lot of people stop doing it. The key is to carry on.
Lovely. And what was your first book? What was your first?
My first book was a Barry Loser. It wasn't this one, but it was like that. It was blue. It was called Barry Loser, I Am Not a Loser.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
And
but
what game?
I was quite old when I first started. That was only like 12 years ago or something.
Okay, well, you don't seem that old now, to be honest. But
Wow.
what gave you the idea for Barry Loser?
Well, to be honest, a lot of publishers were buying books like Wimpy Kid. They were looking for a diary format and a kid that's a bit of a loser. And me and my friends just liked the word loser. I always thought it was funny. And I thought Barry's a funny name to go with loser. Yeah, so it was just that. So I think if you're trying to get into having a book of your own, sometimes it's good to look at what is selling and do your own version of that. I'm not saying copy people, but like you have to look at what is selling in the market.
Yeah. Keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming for more children. So the moment you got an agent, I mean, getting an agent is quite an achievement anyway. But then
Yeah.
getting the first book out, you must have felt so excited when you saw that first book in that first shop window.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Just like you say, getting an agent, because it's really hard to get an agent to send your work out. So when I got that, that was probably the most exciting moment. And then, yeah, holding my own book, because I used to make my own books just so that I could feel like I had a book out.
Yeah.
But then actually getting my own book. And then as soon as you get your own book, you're like, I want to do another one. And then you just keep going.
Never satisfied.
No, you're always on to the next idea.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And what happens next? You've written this. Is this going to be a series or first?
Yeah, I'm signed up to do 3 of these. I was going to call the next one My Big Fat Smelly Poo Diary #2, which seemed obvious, but
Nice.
it's not a good idea to number your books, because people think if they haven't read #1, they can't read #2. Whereas these books, you can just jump in anywhere. So I've called it Tight Squeeze, My Big Fat Smelly Poo Diary, Tight Squeeze. And then the next one after that, I think I'm going to call Let Rip. But yeah, I've written #2. That's already done and dusted. So I'm coming up with ideas for #3 now.
Brilliant. And when will that be out?
#2's out in February, and then #3 in July. Next year, obviously.
Good. Miss Harriet's class, very busy as well. I hope I'm calling it the right thing there. How long does it take to write a book? I mean, I guess particularly if you're doing the illustrations.
It's not
Um,
that long actually. I mean, these ones for some reason they took about 6 months because I had to sit at a laptop and actually write a story. And I don't know, not being able to see the pictures of the story, it's harder to keep it all in your head. Whereas this one, I draw and write as I go. So every day I can just like look at what I've done. I can see it almost like a movie. So it goes a lot quicker. So these take about 3 months to do.
wow.
And I just love it. So it's just a joy to do. So it
And,
doesn't.
and do you ever do illustrations for other authors?
I have done in the past, yeah. I used to give my characters enormous noses, which I think probably people wouldn't use me because it just looked weird, these big noses. But I don't know, my stuff seems to suit my little stories best.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I like it when I'm illustrating my own stuff the most.
I think the guys who did Asterix and Obelix, they got away with using big noses for quite a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah, no, it's true.
I would
Yeah,
just go with it. Goscinny and Uderzo, I adore Asterix. Honestly,
really,
children,
yeah.
if you're running out of ideas of things to read, apart from getting all the Barry Loser
Yeah,
and
go
the
to
Pooh
the
books,
classics.
head for Asterix and Obelix.
Yeah, I think there's a museum in France. It's in, oh, I can't remember where it is, but I think a museum to do with them. And they've got a theme park as well, haven't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have the full collection of books on my shelf here.
I
So,
love that.
in fact, to be honest, if it weren't for Asterix and Obelix, I wouldn't own a bookshop. I think.
Really? Wow. There you go. Comics led to that. Amazing.
They're absolutely linked to each other.
Wow.
Um, we did get a question earlier. Where was partners? What inspired you to become an author? Was there any kind of inspiration? I mean, was it always the case you were going to be a writer, or did you always want to be a drawer? Be a
It was
drawer?
always both. I always really enjoyed writing little stories at school, like when it was a lesson where you could just make up a story. I loved it. I loved drawing. I went to art college, so I didn't do writing at college, but I was just always interested in the idea of coming up with a little story. And when I met my wife, she was an editor. So we kind of inspired each other to start writing properly. And she writes crime books now. So yeah, I just enjoy the whole creating your own little world in your head.
Oh, I didn't know. Is she quite famous? I don't know your wife.
It's not that famous, but she's got real books out. It's
Oh,
called
brilliant.
Jenny Knight. She writes under Knight,
No.
as in Knight.
Okay. Well, I'll look her up, see if we've got her on our shelf.
Yeah.
Well, listen, massive thanks to all of you. Now, to the children, we're hosting Jim Smith tomorrow in Tring, so he's coming to our town. So he's going to be signing everyone's books, everyone who orders ones. So and he'll even dedicate them to you. So if you can get your orders in, the school will send the links to your parents, and get on special.
Doodle as well.
And he'll do a little doodle inside it as well. In fact, Henry Packer was doing the same thing yesterday with those books for Adam Kay. So the link will be there, and they're on special offer as well, and free postage. Dare I say that? So
Wow.
I'll ask the schools if you can all circulate this to the parents. That would be wonderful. But listen, Jim, you've been a legend. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yes, see you in Tring. I'm looking forward to
See
it.
you in Tring, and welcome to our little part of Hertfordshire.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for listening.
And thank you to everyone who joined in from all corners of the country. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye then. Bye.